Yeah, I'm bowling. One more time for my people. I'm back for my people, my BTS. I need you to call it a secret. But I'm iron than the BTS. Say fuck it, I'm going in. Look like it's snowing in. This niggas, I'm throwing money. They think it is fucking funny. But I'm getting money. I'm getting money. I only live one way.
It's Monday through Sunday. We only live in one way, man. That's Monday through Sunday. You dig what I'm saying, man? I appreciate everybody for tuning in. It's NBA Talk with J Money. It's Tuesday, January 3rd here, 2023. Trying to get some cash here. I'm not the only one doing this show. We have our guy at Bump Sports on Twitter, my guy Andy Lang, the prop guy. What's up with you, Andy? Everything cool with you over there? What you talking?
Yeah, everything's going great. Only 3 games tonight, but still enough games to find a couple of good plays to add to the bankrolls. I am licking my wounds. Last night, Jay, we had Zion Williamson over 26.5 points. He has 26 points, and then he pulls his hamstring.
Oh, man.
So it was going to be an easy cash and an easy over. Injuries are a part of it, but to come up a half point short on a pulled hamstring. The key, though, Jay, is the play was correct. The read and the handicap was absolutely 100% correct. So hopefully it's not that big of a hamstring tear. But once again, injuries in Zion Williamson. I hope we're not watching another Anthony Davis come up. So hopefully he's okay. But yeah, let's get into the games. I love it.
No, I don't think it's another Anthony Davis. At least he wants to play. AD would kind of question sometimes if he even wants to play. He arguing being 4 or 5, all this, but hope Zion's good. I'm glad you said that, Andy, because sometimes we cannot cash the bet, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't the right read. And I know we can be pissed off and all this, but at some point you kind of just have to make the right bet and then live with the results, right? So that's what we're here trying to do. We're trying to get some cash. It'd be nice if they refunded you for that one, man. But
I don't ask. But the refunds are ridiculous. I'm against them. It opens Pandora's box for books to do whatever they want. Listen, sometimes it works in your favor, but if you give books leeway and you give books permission to completely change things whenever they want, that can go against you. That's why we get limited. So I don't like books being able to change their minds on things whenever they want. I want things to be black and white. I want there to be rules, and I want to know exactly what I'm getting into. So I will never ask for a refund on something like that.
I like your style, Andy. I like your style. Let's get to today's games, my guys. Let's go over here to the streets of Milwaukee here, guys. We have the Bucks laying 7.5 points at the house in this one. It was 8.5, come down to 7.5. Bill should be playing this one, guys. He went through shoot around. You know how they move the line just based off a guy going through the shoot around. It's not even in or whatever. But regardless to that, Bill probably is going to be in if he went through full shoot around. You do get the quick revenge spot, right, Andy? Now, obviously, this Bucks team, they're struggling right now. We gotta be honest. They are still 15-4 at the house. If me personally, if I want to back the Bucks, I want to back them at the house. We know Giannis didn't play last game. No Drew Holiday as well. Both of those guys are back in this one, but Wiz have won 5 straight, covered 5 straight as well. Andy, what do we do with this game? And any props that you're looking at here?
I don't think we've seen Milwaukee play their best, and I don't think we're going to see Milwaukee play their best until later. Let's face it, this is a team that's championship or bust. There's really no reason for them to go all out in some of these games. Occasionally, you'll see them just lay the absolute smackdown on a couple of teams. Giannis has been a monster, but I'm still just not a believer that this team has turned the on switch on so far. So I'm going with the Wizards over 111.5 on their team total. The defense has not been good. This is a Milwaukee team, Jay, that when you think of some of the guys they have on their team are, really great defensively. Mm-hmm. It's a short sample size, but the last 10 games, they're 19th in the league. Brook Lopez, Defensive Player of the Year. He's leading them to 19th in defensive efficiency. That's the last 10 games. So their defense has not been good. They've given up 114 points or more in 7 straight. And as you mentioned, the Wizards on this little bit of a run, they're playing well. Porzingis is getting it done. Kuzma is getting it done. Mm-hmm. Drew Holiday does return. I think they need a game or two to kind of get back into the mix. This team has been shuffling rotations in and out. They're clunky. They're not quick on some of these defensive rotations like we've seen, but I think they're going to be playing their best in the playoffs. Obviously, not the playoffs. I'm going with the Wizards here to have a good game. I expect it to be high scoring. Giannis's point total is 33.5. I'm certainly not playing under on that, especially because you mentioned the revenge spot. Little lean on Giannis over his point total, but I think the Wizards over their team total is best play for me in this one.
Yeah, I couldn't talk y'all. What they've hit that in 8 straight games, Andy. So I mean, they were going up against some tough teams as well, man. Defensively, they even got there versus the Sixers with that as well. So I couldn't talk you off that. Obviously, got in the last game. Me personally, the only way I could look at this game is Bucks first quarter, first half. I see a bounce back J spot here from the Bucks. Obviously, they didn't have Giannis or Drew Holiday last game. They were supposed to get smoked in that one. When you have Giannis back, it is probably going to help hugely defensively because without, I don't care having Brook Lopez and Robbie Portis. Giannis is really the guy that's defending the paint most of the time, so he should probably be a higher favorite to a higher chance to get defensive year than Brook Lopez. But I know Lopez averaged like 2 blocks a game. All this, whatever, man. It's BS, man. Giannis is the guy that defends the paint down there. These guys are not about to take the Wizards lightly 2 times in a row as well, especially coming off they're 15-4 at the house, guys. The Bucks will bounce back here. Now, will they cover the full game spread? I'm not sure, but the only way that I could look in this game is Bucks in the first quarter and first half as well. If you wait on Bradley Beal to get ruled in, you will get a much better line. But if I had one top play in this game, I'd be playing Bucks in the first half with some revenge game J in this one, guys. So my top play in this game would be Bucks in the first half. Like I say, this line should go down when Bill is announced in. The full game might go down to -7, and maybe the first half is at -4.5 now. Maybe it goes down to -4 or maybe a 3.5. I don't care. I think the Bucks could be up by double digits at the end of the first half. Heavy lean to the first quarter as well, my guy. So that's how I'm looking at that game. My guy Andy looking at the Wizards team total over 111.5. Couldn't talk you off there. Let's go over here to the streets of Oklahoma City here. OKC, the Thunder. We got the Thunder getting 9 points here at the house versus the Boston Celtics here, Andy. Celtics somewhat struggling of late. They are pretty pissed off coming their loss versus the Nuggets in that one. So I know that the Thunder can be feisty underdogs. But what do you think about this, Andy? Earlier in the year, they played. Celtics had to come back in the fourth quarter to win their game by 4 points. And that was in Boston as well. And that's when they were hot. But the Thunder did kind of have both of their centers then, Robinson, Earl, and Pokashevsky. They literally don't have anyone down there now that's over like 6'8". I mean, what are we doing here, Andy? I know that they can play good perimeter defense with guys like Dort and SGA, but when it comes to the paint, the Celtics might have 70 points in the paint and it maybe 80 points in the paint in this game, Andy. How you looking at this one?
Yeah, when you mention points in the paint, there's a couple ways that you can look at it. You say, okay, points in the paint. Does that mean we're taking a center? Or does that mean we're going to take guys that can penetrate and get to the rim? So does that mean we're taking guards? Or, how do you look at it? So I was looking back at some of these Boston Celtics games. And listen, this is cliche. And this is like one of the most obvious things. But it is becoming more and more obvious and by the numbers that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are doing the heavy lifting on scoring, and particularly in these blowouts. I go back and I look at this Houston game where they won by 24. Both Brown and Tatum were 30 points or more. Brown had 39 points in that game. You go to Milwaukee where they won by 21. Tatum had 41. So these guys have led the team in scoring in every single game this year for the Boston Celtics. They do not have one player besides Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown that has led this team in scoring, which is an incredible stat.
It's some ballers.
They are. So when I choose to look at this, I was like, okay, maybe we could look at Al Horford over his points. I just think this is a Jaylen Brown game. I like his point total more than Jason Tatum. Tatum is up around 30.5. I can get Jaylen Brown at 26.5. They just do all of the work. I would look at Marcus Smart over his assists. It's 7.5, but it's plus money, so you're getting really good. Marcus Smart has not been scoring a lot. He's been distributing the ball. And when we say that there's nobody in the paint for the Thunder, even though those bigger bodies, they're not great at defense, but they are at least a presence. There's going to be no one to protect the rim. And I don't know who's going to slow down Jaylen Brown. It's a big Brown and Tatum game. I think they win going away as they're upset about losing to the Denver Nuggets. That's a good game. And honestly, Denver is really coming on strong. That is, if you come out of the East, Denver is a very strong possibility. You're going to be looking at them in the finals if they keep everybody healthy. This is a really nice bounce back spot. I look for Jaylen Brown and Tatum to have good games, but I'm going to lean Brown as my favorite prop in this one.
That's a good look by you, Andy. Jaylen Brown was the main player that was really pissed after that Nuggets loss. So I said tonight, I'm like, the Thunder, in theory, they could be, this is their role, right? Home dogs catching a boatload of points. But I don't like the fact that the Celtics are coming off the loss and probably pissed off in this one. In theory, Thunder have covered 4 straight versus the Celtics. Obviously, they've lost 3 straight up, but they're 4-0 ATS the last 4 versus the Celtics and 6-1 against the spread last 7 games. So for whatever reason, the Thunder have played the Celtics really tough. Obviously, the Celtics they're obviously not as great on the road. I'd worry about them being pissed off here, but it's kind of crazy. I kind of would like to lean Thunder plus a 9, but although I wouldn't be surprised if they got blown out, but I would be looking more like maybe Celtics team total over, looking at some props, Brown, Tatum. I see these guys going crazy tonight. Maybe even Derek White as well, some 3-pointers. These guys have to, when the Celtics do well, they're hitting their threes, and they have guys like Derek White coming off the bench playing well, guys. So I say it's a few too many points for me to lay on the road with the Celtics here. I hadn't made a play on this game, but I could definitely understand Brown coming out here getting 30. I wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics had 80 points in the paint from the Thunder. This could be the game where they just drive into the paint every time. Don't try, if the Celtics, you're smart, don't try to shoot as many threes, because right now you're not making them. Get your ass to the paint, man. So we'll see what happens in this one, man. Definitely great game to watch, maybe even live bet as well, my guys. Let's go over here to the streets of also couldn't talk you off of Bucks first half Celtics money line parlay, my guys. Definitely, I could not talk you off that. Let's go over here to the streets of Utah here. We got the Jazz laying 3.5 points at the house versus the Kings here, Andy. Little revenge game, Jay here. What you like in this spot?
Well, Jay, I believe I spoke to you briefly about this, but we have really started adding same game parlays to official client plays. I wouldn't say I've been against them, but I've always said it seems a little strange to bet on things that the books want you to bet on. And you see these same game parlays advertised over and over, and we've all seen the screenshots on Twitter about, I won, $30,000 on an 18 leg parlay, and those are not what the same game parlays have interested me. No, you know what I'm saying? There's a reason why they
promote those.
Yeah, there's a reason why they would. Yeah, because for every one they show, there's a million others that hit the trash bin. So what I've been doing with same game parlays, and this is an NFL too. We cashed 2 NFL same game parlays. I won a 2 or 3 leg parlay, and I want to get close to even odds. And I'll give you an example of one that hit last night. We looked at the Charlotte Hornets and Lakers game. We thought this is going to be a very, very high scoring game. We took Mason Plumlee to have 2+ assists. He's done that in basically every game this year. We took LaMelo over 30.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And then we had LeBron over 25 points. Cash pretty easily, minus 120. So I'm looking at a game like this where I think we're going to have a lot of points, and that's going to equate to a lot of, different assist props and points props. So these teams played last time, and Lauri Markkanen and Jordan Clarkson just had a field day. Both those guys tore apart the Kings. They did. Most of them do. So I if I'm talking the same game parlay for tonight, this is the game I want to focus on. And I'm looking at Lauri Markkanen to have 20+ points. I'm looking at Jordan Clarkson to have 15+ points. And I'm looking at Domantas Sabonis to have 20+ points. Sabonis playing really well despite that thumb injury. I didn't think he was going to be that good, but boy, he looked really, really solid. Doesn't look like it's affecting his scoring. He's coming off a 12 for 12 shooting night, and he played well against Utah. So that's a same game parlay that you can lock in at really close to even money. So if you're
one more time.
One more
time for us, Andy.
Okay, so Lauri Markkanen to have 20+ points, so 20 or more points.
Cash.
Jordan Clarkson to have 15 or more points.
Cash.
And then Domantas Sabonis to have 20 or more points.
Yeah, I like it.
And so I'm not going to play these every night, but if I can play 4 to 6 of these a week, I think I'm going to win a lot more than I'm going to lose. So that's how I'm attacking these same game parlays. They may seem a little bit square, but if they're winning, I'm going to keep playing them, and the money spends the same.
That's all that matters, man. If it wins, you see what I'm saying? So, me personally, my look on this game would be Jazz in the first half. I'm staying away from them full game. I do think that there is a real possibility that the Jazz might realize maybe we shouldn't be winning all these games, guys. So I really do think that's a strong possibility. Remember, they were like 10 games over 500. Now they're sitting under 500. And if you're not going to make the playoffs, I don't know. I'm staying away from the full game here, although I would lean their way full game. The Kings do have a game tomorrow versus the Hawks. Now, obviously, you would want this one more than the Hawks, but key note here, Huerter is questionable with a back injury. I guarantee you he wants to play his old team tomorrow. So let's just put it like this. If they want to choose, if Huerter wants to choose a game to play, he's probably going to choose tomorrow, even though this is a Western Conference team. They did just beat this team. This is a revenge spot, man. The Jazz just lost on the game-winning shots. You know what I'm saying? From in over there in Sacramento. Remember, the Jazz don't even play well on the road, and it was still a 1-point game. So what would I like to do here? I'd like to take the Jazz in the first half when they come home. The home crowd really gets jumping when they're hitting threes. It can really get rowdy in there. That's really one of the best type of spots to hop on the Jazz is when they're at home as well. They're coming off a home loss as well versus the Heat. So home game too, coming off the little road trip or whatever. I think the Jazz come out here hot. I'd be looking towards Jazz in the first quarter and the first half. I'm staying away from them full game because Kings could want this one a lot more, in my opinion. Now, this is the thing with Sabonis. This is why that marketing is probably going to cash easy, Andy. Sabonis can't play defense right now. He can only focus on offense. He has a banged up hand, guys. You don't want to get that hand re-injured. He has like a broken thumb or something like that. So that means no defense from Sabonis. He's going to let you go right past him and then get the ball, take it out. The Kings are just one of those type of teams right now. They're just trying to outscore you. So that's why this total is so high. If you want to look at some same game parlays or some props or some guys to go 3 points over, obviously Jordan Clarkson is always live as well. Michael Conley will try to spot up for 3 over there. Laurie Markkinen can bust down some threes. But like I say, Malik Monk and Huerter being questioned in this game is huge, in my opinion. Those are their 2 main 3-point snipers. Monk is their main guy off the bench, in my opinion, scoring pop. Huerter is their main 3-point guy starting wise. So I can't say if both of those guys don't play, the Jazz should get this one done full game as well. But like I said, you can wait on those injuries. But if they're in, I still like Jazz early in this one. My top play in this game would be Jazz in the first half minus the 2, my guys. This line's going up as well, man. Kings are 0-5 against the spread last 5 games, but first game of a back-to-back, I'd be looking towards Jazz in this one early. I like Jazz in the first half in this one, Andy. What do you think about that? Any other thoughts on this game?
No, I think you nailed it. I don't understand why if you're playing Sacramento, why wouldn't you foul the ever living what out of Sabonis on that hand?
Right.
Man, listen, if I'm playing pickup basketball and a guy I'm playing with and Garden has got a wrap on his hand, you better believe I'm coming with the thunder on those fouls. So may hurt and he may get mad at me, but that's what I'm
right there with you. My guy Mitch and Armstrong in the chat as well with a good one. If they don't play, look at Keegan Murray threes. Murray will get up those threes for damn sure, man. So that's a good point. He can be somewhat hit or miss sometimes, but he might have 12 attempts if those 2 guys are out. Keep an eye on this injury report, guys. If Huerter and Monk being out for the Kings could be huge. This is not a team that has a lot of depth right now. So in my opinion, if he's out, look at some Fox props and Keegan Murray as well, my guys. Let's get out of here, man. It's the 3 games. We broke them down real nicely. Now it's time to get out of here and talk about some free picks here, Andy. Let them know what you got going over at Wager Talk, my guy. NBA, NFL, all that stuff, and then any picks for us today on the show.
Yeah, so personally, it's a very exciting week for me because golf season starts. So I'm doing the first golf show of the year. Never had a losing season in golf at Wager Talk. So we've got an auto racing and golf special that is up. We've got NBA plays that are up at Wager Talk. Last night was a real bummer. We went 1-2 with one of the losses being the Zion Williamson play. So that kind of broke a little bit of a winning streak for us. We've been seeing the plays really, really well. On a 9-4 run, I believe, short term in NBA. NFL, nothing up yet, but just stay tuned because there's going to be this is a great prop week, Jay. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of guys in the NFL that have contract incentives.
Oh, yes.
And this is the week where if a guy needs 80 yards receiving to get that 250,000 yard bonus, the quarterback feeds him. So this is a great weekend to take advantage of props. But for today, NBA best bet is up. I believe we'll have 2 plays, and one of them I'll give out here on the show.
Appreciate you. Yeah, what you like, Andy?
All right, we're gonna throw everybody for a loop. No one would ever guess this, that I'm giving this out on your show. So it's very, very exciting. So I'm gonna do a cross sport parlay. Okay. I am going to take the Boston Celtics money line. I don't think the Thunder are going to compete with them. I predict the win of 10 points at least. I without the big guys inside, it's all SGA or nothing. And even if SGA has a huge game, I think the Celtics could be too much, especially coming off of the loss. So, and then I'm going to continue a betting trend over in hockey, which is we're going to bet against the worst professional team in all of sports right now. That is the Chicago Blackhawks.
Damn.
Jay, in the last 30 games, they have won 4.
Damn.
I
might start betting some hockey.
So what we're going to do, they're playing the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Lightning should steamroll them tonight. You can take the Tampa Bay Lightning to win in regulation at minus 225. I'm going to parlay that with the Boston Celtics. That gets me to minus 120 on DraftKings. If you want to put the Chicago Blackhawks opponents in any of your parlays, this is going to be a smart move going forward. There is a stud who's going to be the number 1 pick in the NHL. Blackhawks are they're leading the way to get the number 1 pick. This is a tanking season for the Blackhawks. They are awful, an absolute horrible team. So give me the Celtics money line and the Tampa Bay Lightning to win in regulation. And you should not ignore fading the Blackhawks moving forward throughout the season. They're going to be a really, really nice source of income, just taking their opponents for the rest of the season.
I like it, my guy. Yeah, I couldn't talk you off that as well. I might have to start paying attention to some hockey. Sounds like they got a Wembanyama or of the NHL coming over there, man.
They do.
But what I'm looking at, I got you. What I'm looking at today in the NBA, my guys, not the best of cards, I'll be honest with you, but the only thing that I could look at is Bucks first quarter, first half. My top play in that game would be Bucks in the first half for that one. I didn't have anything on that Celtics game, but I would look towards the Celtics team total over. Couldn't talk you out of some Jaylen Brown over points props. He's really pissed coming off that Nuggets game. I know that they have Dort, but no really paint presence inside for them. So don't be surprised if guys like Horford clowning that one as well. Couldn't talk you off a Celtics full game money line with the Bucks first half money line parlay. Believe that's at plus 103. And then you got the Jazz. I like Jazz in the first half. My top play in that game would be Jazz in the first half minus the 2. I lean Jazz trifecta, to be honest with you. Definitely want to see what's up with Monk and Huerter if they play. If they do play, I wouldn't take Jazz full game. That's just me. But Jazz first quarter, first half will be the top plays in that game. Like I say, keep an eye on the injury report for that one as well, guys. A lot of info coming out in the chat, man. A lot of people looking at props as well in the chat, looking at totals, all type of stuff, guys. So if you're just here coming to the last part of the show, Andy's giving out picks on every single game that he didn't mention at the end of the show. It's a lot of info, guys, throughout the show. So we like to break it up. You can go game by game, but I just want to let the people know that come in here, watch the end of the show. You're missing a ton of info, guys. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. We appreciate your time as well. Hit the like button, subscribe. We have shirts up at the site, still 50% off past the new year, past Christmas. Use promo code We Will Win for 50% off over at the site, my guys. We appreciate everybody in the chat. Let's get some cash. We out, my guys. We're back tomorrow.